So how do you really feel about AI, Perry? Hold back or nothing.
I think it's a lot of people jerking off.
That's how you really feel about AI.
Yeah,
the
right
whole
now.
entire marketplace is all aboard this AI.
It's the new NFT. It's the new Bitcoin. I'm gonna go put mine to sell my house and buy Bitcoin. How'd that work out for you? Yeah, I wouldn't sell my house and invest in it. I don't think.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Hey, this is Perry Belcher here with Chad Nicely, and welcome
How
to the
you doing?
Marketing Badass Podcast,
Yeah.
episode number starting
Whoa.
the first of 2023 here. We're going to go off with a bang. This is our temporary set. We're building another set right now. So it'll be a little more fancy schmancy, but I thought we'd get started this way.
But what a way to kick off the year.
We have our Marketing Badass coffee mug
I don't
here.
have my cup. Where's my?
Well, you got to earn one, son.
Always thinking of himself. See, I would have got
That's
you.
right. I got to get something on the bottom of the mug, so I turn it up as like "Eat Me" or something.
We should put a.
You scan it, and this goes to a page that says "Eat Me."
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. All right. So what we're going to talk about today, Chad, you've got some.
Yeah.
You're gonna drive the show a little bit.
So we just started 2023, and everybody's big question
As
is
recently as right now.
where's everything going? What is the biggest trends of 2023?
Yes.
And you guys made a post the other day, had about 200 comments, right?
I did.
Yeah,
200.
I thought it was pretty interesting what people are saying. Obviously, the big one that everybody's talking about is AI.
Yeah, AI, but they skipped the turtleneck sweater because I think
AI.
the turtleneck's definitely coming back.
Turtleneck ain't coming back.
I think it's coming back. It's already back. If you were a man of fashion, you would know this.
Not
All right.
But I did see the UGG boots come back, the Jordans come back, so you could be right.
Yeah, always.
History always repeats.
All right, cool. So AI. So
How
what
do you feel about AI?
What do you think?
Man, I'm torn in the middle on this. I definitely think it's useful, but in the long run, I think people are going to be just really desiring human interaction and realness and creativity and everything that AI is not.
We should have had one of the AI experts on. One of the
can.
ChatGPT experts.
I promise you, when you see this,
almost 3 weeks.
Yeah,
There's got to be
a million
10,000
experts
by now,
right?
Yeah.
You know what? You did a presentation on AI 2 years ago.
I did a presentation on GPT-2
at TNC.
Yeah, 2 years ago, nobody paid attention. Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, I think to your point, I think most people still don't know what AI is.
Let's give the Perry Belcher definition of AI.
Yeah, they think they do. Right now, what you have, the AI that you're seeing on the surface are languaging programs. These are just programs that are generating content or editing content.
That's not the real AI.
And some of the GPT stuff's pretty cool. It'll write code. The stuff like Midjourney that's creating images.
That's awesome.
Pretty fantastic. But big giant asterisks of warning all over all that stuff. The Midjourney guys have already said that they stole 100 million images
dropping, man.
to make that. If you run most AI generated content from GPT or ChatGPT or even some of the better engines, they're getting better about it.
Right.
Through the anti-AI programs, there are already anti-AI softwares out there, right? That are saying this is crap, this is AI. So how do they know? How do it know? So they know because of plagiarism. They're able to look through and see that right now what these AI tools are doing, or AI toys, for lack of a better term, in my opinion, are just really taking bits and pieces of other people's content, mashing it together. They're not really reading and understanding it and then re-explaining it. They're taking pieces of explanations from other people and mashing them together to make sense, which for certain things is really useful.
Very useful.
I think it's very useful for email, for instance.
And we used it a little bit here and there.
Yeah, and there are ways to wash it. So I had a call with one of my business partners, Ben, the other day, and he was talking about how you doing this? And I was walking through, like, you go to GPT, ask your GPT, by the way, the thing everybody's missing, ChatGPT is amazing for research. It's really good to spark ideas for writers and to get research. Go to ChatGPT and say, hey, what are the 5 biggest fears of expecting mothers? Yeah. And it's going to give you really great research material to work from.
Yeah, those prompts are important.
Yeah, they really are. And there's going to be a whole world of prompts in these language learning platforms. There's going to be, Sean Balser's a good friend of mine, is really getting heavy duty in the prompts game.
Prompt sauce.
Yeah.
There's a shame.
Yeah, he's a really great guy, by the way.
Great guy.
He paid me to say that. His first sponsor on the podcast, I got $100,000.
There you go.
From Sean to say that. So Sean, I'm still waiting on that check. I hadn't seen it.
Prompt sauce.
Yeah.
Prompt sauce.
Anyway, but I think really the real deal is the AI that's working underneath the surface right now, that's doing things like reading x-rays for doctors and that are spying
Yeah.
on us from,
That's
the
extravagant.
CIA. And,
Yeah.
this is real. There's real AI out there.
And it's still not here yet, though. They're still playing
It's
and
here.
tinkering.
It's here for bigger players. For guys like us, not really.
No,
I think
kind of think it's dangerous. I think there's going to be some.
I think that I think there's going to be lawsuits over copyrights for sure. And I think that Google they're not stupid, right? They've been through the whole content spinning world before. This is not their first rodeo.
And they're like in red alert status right now, trying to
figure out how they're going to stop this. And eventually they may or may not be able to. Who knows? But they're actually using AI to assist in your searches on Google right now. So there are really legitimate uses. I think what people are so excited about right now are leftovers that people in Silicon Valley have been screwing with for 3 years. So there's not it's exciting to the layman, right? But not so exciting to anybody who's really in the know. And most people that I know of that are heavier duty tech people see it as a toy right now.
And it's interesting, like how many people have jumped aboard this AI bandwagon. I would say the 200 comments that you made on your post, most of them said AI.
And most would.
But we saw the same thing with NFT.
Right. Bitcoin. Go buy Bitcoin. Sounds great. Yeah. It's everybody wants a new thing to be an expert about. Everything wants a new thing, but excited to sell a product about. I'm not going to say I'll never sell anything based on.
Is this a good time for AI?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'll never sell anything that's AI related because we probably will eventually, but it'll be in prompting. It'll be and probably it'll be tied to something called soft robotics or RPA, robotic process automation. And I think that's the
second thing on my list.
That's the thing that's not being talked about nearly enough.
Yeah. And that's the big thing.
Yeah. RPA is changing the whole world. So basically AI in and of itself can't do anything. It can generate text and it can make simple decisions, but it can't actually do anything.
Yeah.
But when you tie AI to robotics, either mechanical robotics or soft robotics, most people don't know what soft robotics is, but basically soft robotics can reproduce anything that two hands can do on a keyboard. So there's a company called UiPath. They're probably the leader in this, although there's a bunch of other ones.
Stuff.
Yeah. And what you can do with that is make decisions with AI. Like AI can read through what's called unstructured data. And like you can put in 1,000 invoices in and AI will read that with OCR. And then the AI will make a decision of the probability of what different fields mean. And you can process tons of paperwork. Then that goes into, for instance, to an RPA program that keys those invoices into QuickBooks or into NetSuite or into whatever you're using accounting wise. That can then export them out to a spreadsheet for approval by an AP manager. And you can replace 100 people in an AP department with one RPA bot, one supervisor. And that's where the really big money's happening right now. That's where
you're seeing it in restaurants, medical, manufacturing.
Yeah. Physical robotics, physical robots are set to take, physical and soft robots are set to take about 30% of all American jobs in the next 5 years. So about 30%. So they're already building McDonald's restaurants where there's one person sitting in the middle of the restaurant. All the burgers are being flipped by robots. The fries are being done by robots. The robots actually have acne, like really bad acne, because you got to have acne if you work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You didn't know that? That's true.
Well, my robot at Olive Garden didn't have bad acne.
But they got robots at Olive Garden now, robots at Applebee's that are rolling over and taking your orders and bringing your food back. So robotics are going to be a big thing. And with all the AI and the robotics that are happening, that's inevitable. Autonomous cars are inevitable. Robots waiting on you at restaurants are inevitable.
Future's here.
Robots they've got robot mechanics now. BMW is coming up with robot mechanics that actually can pull your entire engine out of your car, fix anything on it, and put the engine back in without a human being there.
Yeah.
They built the car with a robot. They should be able to unbuild it with a robot, fix it, and put it back together again. So there's a lot of this stuff going on with robotics. I think that's the subject that's not being talked about nearly enough. But even with AI, right? Number one, AI is going to create a lot of toys and a lot of tools, and there'll be some useful things. But when you tie AI to robotics, you can actually make more things happen. But there's also going to be a huge push into anti-AI technology. Harvard just expelled their first student for writing their senior thesis.
We're going to see more of that.
So you're going to see way more AI detection, so to speak, software out there in the market. And I think it's going to be really hard to tell who's real and who's not. So How does the old pops figure out what he's going to do about that? So you're looking at it right now, right?
Yeah.
Much more time on video, much more time at live events, much more time on the phone with people, much more time with podcast, audio and video, much more time getting to know people. So the one thing that I was really wrong about, I thought the influencer splash in the pan, so to speak, would be gone by now or be gone soon. I don't think it's going anywhere. And the reason I don't think it's going anywhere, but there's a certain way to handle it. I'm an ugly influencer. I got a face for radio.
Yes, you are. Just saying.
I can get another
Not
co-host.
that I'm, yeah.
Maybe a hot one too.
Asian.
Yeah. No, but I really think that I was wrong about that, because especially with AI, and especially with robotics, and especially with all the stuff being pushed in the markets, it's impossible to make a decision.
Well, let me ask you a question.
It's impossible for most people to make decisions without somebody they trust to help them make those decisions.
So here's the thing. This is a big question I have with AI, right? It's phenomenal. The story that it comes up with is so believable. Now there's a picture that goes with it, right? We've even seen some that will create the video, right? How in the world are they going to address the question, is this real or is this fake? That's the part I don't get.
I think they're going to have to trust somebody to tell them. And I think the influencer space is going to stay around for a long time because of that. And I think you're going to see the influencer economy came to be kind of like Facebook came to be, right? Facebook came to be from college students, and then high school students, and then younger people, and then everybody. So the influencer space has been largely young, attractive people. My son's an influencer, and his girlfriend's an influencer. They're all
attractive.
Attractive people, but not all of them. Some of them are very unattractive, but informative and knowledgeable. And if you can get on to media like this and explain to people that you know a little more than they do, not a whole lot more. There's a book that I'm really a huge fan of. I've told a lot of people about it, called Inevitable.
Yeah.
Inevitable is a great book. And it talks about the trends that, I think it's the 30 trends, they say, but 13 trends that will shape the next 30 years. And one of the big trends was something called perpetual newbieism, that there really aren't any experts anymore, other than the people that claim to be, right? The ChatGPT experts of 2 weeks. You know who these guys are that pop up. They're always the expert of the next new thing. I could name 5 of them right now. But
it'd be a more interesting show if you did.
But what's interesting, they are kind of experts. If the theory of the perpetual expert is, or the perpetual newbie is, that the expert is the guy or the gal that knows just this much more than you do. I read a Frank Abagnale. You know who that was?
I do not.
That's a Catch Me If You Can guy.
Oh,
yeah. One year he taught, I think it was physics at a major university like Cornell or something. So 1 year of his life when he was on the run, he took a job as a physics professor, I think it was physics, at some major university, and did fine. He did just fine with the teaching, had no problems. And they asked him after he got caught, how'd you do that? And he said, it was easy. I just stayed one chapter ahead of the rest of the class.
Yeah.
And that's how he taught a very complicated subject he knew nothing of. So if you're teaching right now, you know, a lot of people, this word that floats around I hate called, I have imposter syndrome. I don't know what the fuck that is. But anyway, yeah, I have my imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But I don't get it. But people, that's a new phrase. And I think it means I'm just a chicken shit to put myself out there is what I think it means. But, and no offense to people who are chicken shits, but I'm joking. Yes, I want to offend you. If you're a chicken shit, damn it, be offended. But I think people are afraid to put themselves out there, so they come up with this term. But I think it is kind of weird because in our history, depending on how old we are and stuff, you revered an expert, you revered a master, somebody who'd been doing something a really long time, and they're just not there anymore, man. You got technologies are developing much faster than education and training is. So you can make a lot of money right now getting ahead of some of these terms like robotics, man.
Especially with the way content syndication works today.
My kids, I'm yelling at my kids every day. I said, learn robotics now. You can learn soft robotics with UiPath for free.
They teach it for free. Perry, the other day that said, I don't remember who said it, but they said, if you're worried you're going to lose your job because of AI and robotics and everything, you probably certainly are.
Yeah, you're right. But AI is not going to cost anybody a job. Robotics will. Outsourcing will. And a lot of people, we're using AI right now to assist people that work for us offshore to help with decision making and ad buying, ad creation, things like that. Yeah, there's a big movement there. So what are you going to do about it? Be more you, be more authentic,
be creative,
be more creative, be more entertaining, man. You gotta This stuff of, hi, I want to talk to you about the 5 things you need to
Be
do.
controversial.
Yeah, say something that
Shock and awe.
stand for something
Yeah.
every now and then and make somebody laugh, and don't be so damn worried about offending somebody. In fact, I'd say if you're not offending somebody with every video you do, you're not doing your job well. You're not pushing the envelope quite enough. I've told people for years, back, I guess 5 years ago, the 2 highest paid disc jockeys in the world were Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh. And 90% of Americans hated both of them.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Very effective.
But they only had to find those 10% of people that really were their people, their tribe, and serve them. And that's all you need to do too.
Now today we have Logan Paul and Elon
Right.
Musk, and very controversial.
Nobody pays attention to you if you're normal. I've been saying for years, if you act a little weird, people stay away from you. If you act total batshit crazy, they'll make you their leader.
So we got to act all controversial.
A little I'm going to take off all my clothes in just a second.
Oh, please don't.
I'm going to get completely naked here.
Not again.
And just stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. So we just lost our entire audience.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
But still, I still have some questions on AI
sure.
before we move on. So everybody's all excited. So what's going to happen is a bunch of shit's going to get pumped out there. And then there's going to come a point where we have a bunch of shit online, right? Then everybody's say, hey, we have a problem now. Google's already decided to tackle this whole entire thing. So then what happens? Then everybody's going to start going the direction you're talking about. They're going to be more creative. They're going to be more controversial. They're going to put themselves out there. They're going to be more real than because AI can't think outside the box.
AI can play chess and beat the grandmasters, right? Certain AI, most people don't know, there are at least 30 AI platforms out there right now that compete with GPT-3. Now GPT-4 is coming out. There's DeepMind and a bunch of others. Most of these are not open source. Most of these are not publicly available, and they're put out by companies who are charging millions and millions of dollars to the Department of Defense and all these other places for AI technology. This is technology way beyond the little Swiss Army knife that you've got available to you from OpenAI. Nothing against OpenAI. I think it's great that they've raised so much awareness of AI technology for people. But the problem is they've raised so much awareness of AI technology to people.
Well, brought it on.
Now everybody thinks it's just.
What brought it on? Because it was about late October, November, right? That's when all of a sudden, I don't know if it was that Lens AI that really brought it to the surface. Because like I said, we were talking about it 2 years ago. So what do you think brought it on?
I think they just made it easier for people to access. And GPT-3's you could use it through an API and services like and Quillbot.
Great tool, by the way.
Yeah, I love Jarvis. I love Jarvis, Quillbot, WordTune, all those. I've been using all those for a long time. Most people don't know that, like Grammarly, that you've been using forever, is an AI tool that corrects grammar and spelling. So AI is really good to correct things. It's still clunky on the creation side.
Yeah.
When it's creating something, it's having to pull from all these different resources. When it's correcting something, it's basically making what you put into it better. And I think it's useful for that. I think it's really useful for research. And I think there are certain prompts that make it useful for internal uses, but
it's just not final results.
Just to produce people are because I write copy, and people are like, oh man, you think AI is going to replace copywriters?
No.
Hell no.
And it's not going to replace what we're doing here either.
Not any time in a long time. What it's going to force copywriters to work hard again. It's going to force them to actually use their craft, and it's going to run off 99% of would-be copywriters who just claim that they are, and because they're going to go out and use AI to write sales letters for people that are going to get their whole websites banned. And then that's going to happen. Yeah. And then that's going to be the end of that shit. That'll be that. But I think there's a lot of use of AI, and I'm not shitting on AI overall, but just right now it's in a toy stage.
And it's leaving footprints.
Yeah,
it is.
Oh, it definitely is. And it's making people talk to my daughter the other day, and she can't get from her house to my house without her GPS. Mm-hmm. She just can't. I can go to her house easily because I grew up without a GPS. She's never had a car, didn't have a GPS in it. So I think that AI is going to make a lot of people really lazy. And when they need a real skill set, they're not going to have it.
They're not going to have it.
Yeah, they don't have it.
No. I'm torn on it. I know we're at the infant stages with it. I want to see where it ends up. I think it's going to be an interesting journey.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. One thing that you've been hot and heavy on is this whole podcast VSL thing. Right?
Yeah,
I know you are excited with
that. Before that, though, let's talk just a second, because I wrote to the side, I almost skipped off my list, is video, podcast, and especially YouTube. Seeing a trend right now on YouTube that I've been watching for about a year. And I'm seeing more and more people, and a few people I really know and respect are really jumping into this fray right now. And that's really pushing the free line hard on YouTube. You can go watch 2 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour master classes
Right.
on all sorts of skills and subjects on YouTube now. And if you pay the $11 a month, which I should have an affiliate link here, right? If you pay the $11 a month, you don't see any ads in YouTube anymore.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
I need to do
you
that.
get 4 months free, and after that's $11.99 a month or something. That's the best money I ever spent. I've probably cut down my normal television consumption by 80% and replaced it with learning on YouTube. And you'll find right now a lot of the courses on YouTube
Yeah, super
are
high quality.
better than the ones that you buy for $1,000 from an info marketer somewhere. And this year, I'm posting everything that I've ever done that's a year older. I'm posting for free on YouTube. So it's going to be a really interesting year to see how that goes. And when we run these podcasts, I'll send people over for other resources for free. And I'm guessing that back to that authenticity thing, people go, man, that guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then I'll get the kind of clients I want, which are clients that are already well-heeled, that are already moving, and that are willing to pay more money to help them move faster. Because if you're in the marketing space, if you're an advisor, consultant, or anything, you'll find that moving people from 0 to 1 is a colossal feat. But moving people who are doing, let's say, $1 million a year to $10 million a year, and I can do that with my eyes closed. I've done it 20 plus times now. It's so easy. And just getting people from 1 million to 10 or from 10 to 20. I'm not very good past about 30 million, to be honest with you, but I'm great from, I call myself a 2 to 20 guy. So if I can just put out a lot of content that maybe the person I'm trying to reach won't see that content, but maybe somebody who works for them does and recommends me or whatever. Neil Patel's a good friend of mine. And he talks about speaking, and he goes to speak. He never sells anything. And he said, there's talking to an audience of one, there's somebody in the audience that either can spend what I need from a client, which I think from him is about 6 figures a month, or there's somebody in that audience that works for somebody that can influence them. So I just go and speak all I can. And I'm just trying to find a more efficient way to do that. And I think YouTube's an efficient way. And you're finding a lot of these teachers on YouTube under different subjects are getting, you sell a course this year, you think about it, you sell a course this year for $300, let's say, cheap course. If you sell 1,000, you've done pretty great. So 1,000 people seen your course. You put that course on YouTube and give it away for free, 200,000 people might see it this year. What are the odds? Where do you reckon you're going to get more high-end customers from?
And that's the key, the high end, right?
Yeah.
Because where people would argue is they'd say, you don't want to put your content out there because then why would somebody buy it? Which I completely disagree with that.
I completely disagree with you. You know what convinced me? A friend of mine here in town who does, I won't say his name, but he does massive online events, like 100,000 people in online events. And he charges up to, I think it's up to $1,000 for certain levels of virtual tickets. And then he streams the whole thing for free on a Facebook. And I'm like, man, doesn't that destroy everything you're doing?
I don't know.
He said, do you watch the Super Bowl on TV? Yeah. Does that drive the ticket prices down? No.
Yeah,
So
very interesting point.
absolutely, it's a really, really good point. So I think that you're going to see more and more people, everybody's concentrated right now on short form video. And I think there's certainly a use for it. And Alex Ramosi is a good friend of mine, lives here in town.
Brilliant.
And he's killed it with short form. A lot of people kill it with short form. But Alex and all those guys, the smart people, are using that short form to drive back to their long form. Because the one thing about YouTube that's amazing is it lasts.
Yeah.
I've got videos on YouTube I made 12 years ago that still get 10, 15, 20, 30 views a day. It lasts. It's out there for freaking ever.
Yeah. Along the same lines, what we're talking about here is how they're delivering content today. And we've seen a lot of people that are out there where they were charging for the course before. Now they're giving it away, but they're getting people results. And then they're getting on the phone with them and providing coaching or mentoring or some kind of done for you setup, or everything's changing from.
There's a young man on the really simple side of that. There's a young man who has a YouTube channel called, he'll call me after he sees this because I want to talk to him anyway. It's called Forever Self-Employed.
Huh, great name.
Love this channel. And it's this guy who does pressure washing and landscaping and car cleanup and detail and trash can cleaning and gutter cleaning and all kinds of these little small time home services. But what's amazing about him is on his YouTube channel, he shows you exactly how to do everything he does.
Smart.
Then he says, hey, now if you want to learn how I sell it and how I market my services and how I make money, click over here and you can buy my course on marketing and maybe even join my mastermind group of people. So he's giving away the how to do the thing, right? But he's not giving away the how to make money from doing the thing, which is really smart. Let's check that channel out. And if any of you guys know him, I would love to chat with him because I think his channel's fascinating. And there are a bunch more. There's a guy named Matt Diggity that's doing really well, teaching media buying and SEO. A bunch of other folks that are just doing, and this is highly produced, frankly, way better produced learning experience than most paid products.
Yeah.
And they're all free.
Yeah. The people are focused on the side hustles right now. Everybody, we talked about this the other day, how people are looking for gigs. They're looking to make an extra $500,000 a month. People aren't looking for a second job.
Yeah.
So the people are focused on the side hustles and the flipping and creating a painting, like all that stuff are doing very well today.
The fascinating thing that I don't think anybody grasps about YouTube right now is if you make a course, let's say you've got a course and somebody out there watching this right now has made a course that didn't sell worth a crap, right?
No.
All right. Or you got stuff that's older that you whatever.
Right.
So if you can put that stuff out in YouTube and it gets views, guess what happens? YouTube pays you. So eventually, if you've got a big enough channel that gets enough views, like I think Matt Diggity's channel's got, gets 5-6 million views a year. That means he's probably getting $50,000-$60,000 a year,
right,
from YouTube for advertising on their platform, right? He's pretty crazy. Instead of him paying them for advertising, they're paying him for advertising. And a lot of the guys that are doing this are taking that money, putting it right back into YouTube ads, right back into Google ads, driving more people to their content.
And he's still getting the leads. He's still building lists.
Still getting the leads, still building the list, and establishing an amazing amount of goodwill. And if you have an email list and you can post to YouTube and then email to that video right after it posts, you can really spike the algo and get a lot more views on that YouTube video right away. So I'm in 2023.
You're all in on YouTube.
2023, I am long YouTube, big time. Yeah. Right. So you guys are going to see all kinds of stuff. I might go broke. I might not have anything to sell anymore. Maybe everybody watches all that stuff and never wants to hire me to do anything else, and I go broke. But I'm about ready to quit anyway, so I don't really care.
Yeah, but this is fun. That's the one thing you said, man. We gotta have fun.
Gotta have more fun.
We do.
You gotta have more fun.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Speaking of YouTube, do you want to talk about this podcast VSL?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of trends right now that are really happening, and one's the podcast VSL. A lot, 100 guys are claiming to have come up with this thing. I don't know really who really came up with it exactly. It's basically doing a podcast like this, and then at the end of the podcast, or the beginning of the podcast, the big intro, there's a teaching experience, and then at the end, there's a pitch, there's an offer made. And the reason it's working so well is just people aren't looking for it. If you think about it, if you go backwards in time, everything that's happened that's been big in our business, webinars, teleseminars, squeeze pages, long form sales letters, launches, challenges, they were something that kind of disguised the sales process, where you came into something that you weren't feeling like it was a pitch. When webinars started, everybody knows now webinars is a pitch. When webinars started, they didn't feel like a pitch. When teleseminars started, they didn't feel like a pitch. And now, even I think right now, a great opportunity is just, hey, can we hop on a Zoom later today? Sure. Everybody goes, sure. You don't think about hopping on a Zoom as a pitch, right? I'm going to hop on a Zoom and I'll walk you through the process. While I'm walking you through the process, guess what? At the end, there may be a pitch. So I think that podcast VSL, Zooms, we're testing right now a conference call, which is basically a teleseminar. That's just an automated teleseminar. But we're changing the verbiage up, and it's for the trading and financial space where they're used to conference calls because the companies put out conference calls. So I think that any form, like you remember the fake blogs, like the fake blogs, the fake news articles, all that stuff.
Yeah,
those worked. Everybody was trying
for the time.
The reason they worked was because people went, "Ooh, I'm reading a news article." Right. Boom, there's a sales pitch. Or, "Ooh, I'm reading an article." Boom, there's a sales pitch. So people, if you can get your client, whatever it is, whether it's a news article or it's whatever it is, if you can get them engaged for a certain period of time and they're in momentum, they'll tend to stay in momentum through the sales process. So I think that's going to be really big for the direct marketing space this year. I think you're going to see a lot of those, probably to the point that they stop working in a year. because people will be like, it's another one of those.
Let me add this in here
But
too.
maybe not, because so many people do listen to podcasts, so maybe not.
One thing that blew me away when I first met you was the fact that you put your phone number up on the screen.
Sure.
And that was unheard of in this business. Nobody's going to put their real phone number out there. But I want you to take calls all day long. I want you doing business all day long because your phone number is everywhere out there. It'll probably be right here at the bottom of this video. And that's something that I think a lot of people could do really well if they put their phone number.
I don't understand. I don't understand the reason. I don't understand the reason why you wouldn't. I never got it. If you're in this business and your objective is to, now there are some people that want to be in this business, sit down in their basement, and you click a button and you buy their course on whatever, and they never want it. They're afraid of people. And
yeah,
for them, I get it. But I think they're going to have a tough time in the coming year. I think they're already having a tough time because it's very hard right now. I don't know very many people at all that are buying media to a course, selling that course, and making a lot of money. Just don't. The cost of media has gotten so expensive. Affiliates are demanding huge commissions. I just don't think there's hardly any money.
It's about what, $3 a click?
About $3, yeah, for just about anything. So, between $1.50 and $3. And some markets just can't demand high tickets. The people that I know that are doing well, it seems like there's going to be a bottom and a top, and you're going to have this $7 products right out here, and you're going to have $10,000 products, and everything in between is going to get washed out in the process. We'll see. I don't know, but that's the way it's looking at me right now.
Our plan is to do both.
Yeah, I think right now, if I had more time, I'd write more books. I think books are an extraordinary way to enter the market, and books, just the fact you've written a book gives you a certain degree of authority, but way more. I'm doing an event coming up, I think the end of January, called the Perpetual Workshop event. And I just talk about how we do workshops, right? So we do workshops to create products that get people to more workshops, that sell big ticket to create more products, to get more people to workshops. And it's this big cycle. I did it all year last year. I had 5 workshops last year, and 3 of them were multi-subject workshops that covered 5 or 6 subjects in one workshop. So we're doing a lot of double features coming up this year. We'll do a 2-day workshop, and whole day will be on one subject, and the whole day will be on another subject that's loosely related. And the reason we do that is just to produce twice as much content, because those courses are then sellable. But my objective now is to sell them for a fairly short period of time at a premium price, because there are some people that want to get an edge, right?
And you get paid to build courses.
Sure, you get paid to build courses just by the attendance.
Right.
So when we have people that come in and pay to come to an event, I built my own event center here. So it doesn't really cost me a great deal of money to hold an event. So I built an event center here that holds 48 people. I think we're about to expand to 70, but that's about as big as it'll ever get here. But I bring those people in. So let's say I sell tickets for $500, right? And I sell 50 tickets. It's 25 grand. Right. So I get 25 grand. It makes it worth my time to sit down and script out an event, right? Now I'm going to get at least two products out of that event that are standalone 8 hours worth of content, right? I can sell them for a brief period of time and then eventually give them away. And sometimes I'll finish one of these events and the product is not good enough. I don't think it's good enough to sell. I don't feel good about getting 500 or $1,000 or whatever from it. And sometimes we'll just shelve it. Gosh, I've got so much content shelved, thousands of hours of content shelved. So I'm taking all that content. Back in the retail days, old guy told me one time, you can't sell it if it ain't on the floor. So if you've got content stuck back, begin YouTubing that content right now. And I would say YouTube it longer YouTube videos are doing better right now. And you're getting paid from YouTube based on the amount of minutes you're keeping somebody on a video. And I know there's big arguments about completion times and things like that. I'm sure that YouTube just wants to keep you on the channel for a certain amount of hours. And
if we can go
longer they list to you, the better.
If we can go back to the events, because you make a very valuable point. I know a lot of people that run events.
Sure.
Okay? So they'll bring 30, 50 people in, just a small little intimate event. But it's never focused around like one product, one strategy. It's always, hey, let's get together, let's have a little mastermind or whatever. Sure. And they miss the opportunity to actually make that a product.
Yeah, when I started Digital Marketer with Brian Dice, the first TNC that we ever did, we argued about it for 2 years before we did it. And then finally I won that argument that we should do it. And the way I won the argument was by saying, look, let's do 8 sessions, 90 minutes each, and let's turn each session into a product.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
And we did it. And I think we sold 4 of them out of 8.
Mhm.
But we gave the others away in membership sites and we
Right.
blogged them. And so we got value out of all of it. But we got most of the money we sold. That was where 43 split test came from. That's where the video sales letter formula came from.
Oh, wow.
That's where, yeah, a lot of the different products that we sold that were 100, 200, $300
Hmm.
came out of those events. And so when I went back into this business 8 years, 9 years later, and been teaching anything, I just went right back to the same strategy. It's the same strategy Dan Kennedy's used for years, by the way.
Yeah.
Dan will sell a workshop, fill the workshop, record the workshop. Now the recording of the workshop becomes the product along with some materials that go with it, same as me. And every product Dan's ever produced has went that way. And Dan's work's timeless. I try to keep dates and current events out of those events because it lets people date them. And some people will believe a thing is old. It's really not old.
Yeah.
Just because it was produced a few years back. But
And like this event thing, it wasn't on our list to talk about, but
right.
It's hot. And just the other day, Onik was talking about it. When I did events at my house, I would make a post on my wall. I know you do that. Onik does that. Like you're able to go out there and do a small, intimate event, 50, 100 people or whatever, without having to pay for ads today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not even 50 or 100. One of my better friends here in town, Kevin Nations, will do an event with 8 people, 10 people, 12 people.
Yeah.
But he's selling a really high ticket advisory service. It's well worth the money.
Really good at what
But getting people into the room, there's nothing that replaces that belly to belly. And I think in this coming year, number one, how many people can we get in the room? Number two, how many people can we get on the phone? Number three, how many people can we chat with in chat conversations? How many people can we have an ad hoc conversation with that's not one message to many, right? That's not another webinar, that's not another video sales letter, that's not another sales letter pitch. And I think it starts with video. I really do.
Yeah. You're never, no matter what they come out with, you're never, ever going to be able to replace being face to face, belly to belly.
Yeah, nothing is better. If one of my businesses partners with a guy named Ben Robinson in bookkeepers.com business.
Yeah.
And we were going through a couple of years ago, looking through the stats of the year, and we've really grown the business well over there. Ben's a fantastic operator and a great partner.
Amazing.
But
great guy.
But we were looking at like step number 7 in our funnel was ask people if they wanted to get on the phone and do a demo. When we got people on the phone to do a demo, half of them were buying. Half, 50%. I said, when are we doing that? About 8 days into the funnel. I said, okay, let's move that up to 3 days. And we did. And wow, it's better. And now it's number 1 day. It's day 1. Let's get on the phone and let's do a walkthrough with you. And because our normal in that funnel, our normal conversion rate is a couple of points. And you get them on the phone, you close half. Because sometimes people just feel more comfortable after they talk.
You're the one that taught.
You don't have to hard pitch.
A lot of times people are already sold.
Yeah.
You just need to ask them if they're ready to get started.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of value. Probably the biggest thing I've learned this year is the value that's in your list in your non-buyers. Your people that have signed up for a webinar but didn't attend it, or your people that
they're not just tire kickers, are they?
No, man.
No.
A lot of times they're your most valuable people because you think about it. You're looking at a guy right now that has never sat through a webinar. I've written probably 24 in my life and delivered tons of them. But I've never sat through somebody else's, unless I was trying to spy on them to figure out what the hook of their webinar was. But if I'm going to buy something, I'm like, dude, I saw your webinar. Your headline looks cool. Can I just buy your stuff? I'll send people messages on Facebook. I don't have 2 hours to kill. And I don't think one of my business partners, Jason Fladlin, is the number 1 webinar guy, without question. I don't even think there's anybody to dispute him right now.
I've sat through many of them.
Yeah. And he and I always argue. I said, you got the worst customers in the world, because if you got a customer willing to sit on a webinar for 2.5 hours and listen to your gobbledygook, they can't really have much on the ball. And he would dispute that. And his bank account would say that I'm wrong. But I still think at the end of the day, but you're still looking at those webinars, though, at having 10, 15, 20% refund rates, whiny people that are, well, my domain name ain't working. And no fault for people who are starting, but if again, taking people from 0 to 1 is really hard, and it's not very rewarding because most will fail. Well, and that's unfortunate, but true.
But doing podcasts and doing YouTube and Facebook groups and going live and everything is really going to reinforce the sales on those webinars. It's going to keep people happy where they don't want to refund.
Yeah, getting people involved. There are a number of people found in these podcasts, right? I've been reluctant about doing podcasts. because it's very hard to monetize and say, well, I did the podcast and I made this much money. It's very hard to pin it down or to attribute it. But I think that what most people found, their normal podcast listeners, if they can identify who they are their best buyers. They tend to be their lifetime buyers, so people buy forever. Dan Kennedy told me one time, it's the reason he put CDs and everything for years and years. It costs a lot of money is because he's a man. If they're listening to me in the car going back and forth to work, I got them. I got them.
Yeah, they're going to spend a half hour.
If they listen to me enough, they're listening to me 10 hours and they're listening to somebody else with a VSL for 10 minutes.
Yeah, here's what's interesting.
Who's going to win?
If I get on YouTube, I skim. But if I really get into a podcast, I just tune in.
Yeah, dive in.
Yeah, and then I'll listen to it the next day.
Yeah, maybe we'll be podcast experts in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You think?
Why would it shouldn't take us 2
Well, it
weeks.
shouldn't take 2 weeks. Yeah, we're almost finished the first one. Yeah. Podcastexperts.com. Just go there right now. Sign up. I'm sure that's Russell's. It has experts in the name.
Yeah, probably is. Okay. So yeah, I think we hit on that. You want to talk about one of the most underutilized income opportunities out there for your own products. One that I absolutely love. That's the affiliate model.
Yeah, I think that's a model that's been really shit on in the last years. I think affiliate marketing is kind of reinventing itself right now. And I think you'll see some changes coming in 2023. And it's largely the default of it being a pain in the butt, and the change that's going to make it, I think, better largely lies on the publishers and the product producers, because they're seeing now being a person who has affiliates sell for them, and I do. It's a cost certain to me. If I'm going to sell this coffee mug for $10 and I'm paying a 50% commission and the coffee mug costs me $1, I know I'm going to make $4. That's not the economics on a coffee mug for what it's worth. But as an example, I know I'm going to make $4. If I go out to buy media to sell this coffee mug, I might spend $2 and I might spend $11 to sell the same $10.
Yeah, you don't have the certainty.
So you don't have the certainty. So I think that what you're going to see now are publishers and manufacturers and product distributors be a lot more aggressive with commissions to affiliates, because media costs have risen so much in the Google platform, the YouTube platform. Media costs have risen so much that I'm already seeing affiliate commissions rise.
Like 100%.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, some people pay 100%. Depend.
If it makes sense.
You got to watch out, because some of those guys paying 100% are pretty sketchy dudes, because they're going to pay 100% on the mug, but they're going to sneakily subscribe your person to a 4 mug a month thing that's $200, and pretty soon they're going to hate them a lot, and they're going to hate you by proxy. So you got to be careful with some of the things. But I think you're seeing the cost to acquire customers has really risen. I'm scratching like a freaking junkie today. I feel like I need to do some heroin or something. You got any heroin?
I don't. Not today.
Damn it.
Recent.
Always a bad day.
That would make for a
pick a bad day to stop doing heroin.
Yeah. How's that coffee sitting with you, by the way?
It's like heroin in a cup. Yeah. So I think affiliate marketing, drop shipping, print on demand.
Yeah.
I put all those in the same bucket, basically. I think you're going to see the competitiveness. Like, I know that in the t-shirt printing business, Printfuls had that market for the longest time, and they just pay their people terribly. I mean, horrible amounts of the profit go to you, and most of them go to them. So they've got some new competitors that have shown up in the last few months that are now being much more aggressive with the shares. And I think as that happens, you're seeing a lot. It's not just online. Uber now is taking like 55% of the driver's money. So you're seeing competitors start to creep in. And you're going to see more and more of that as these companies are greedier and greedier and want more and more. Competition is going to pop up on the supply side that's going to offer better opportunities for the affiliates. Because if you think about it, as an Uber driver is just an affiliate, really, at the end of the day. And they're providing a certain service, delivering a certain service. So I think that you're going to find this year affiliate marketing, print on demand, and drop shipping, especially global drop shipping. Global drop shipping is really improving a lot. Like, you used to sell an item from AliExpress and your customer would get it in 3 or 4 weeks. Now they're getting in 7 to 10 days. Not just the most horrible thing. If you disclose it and say, look, this is coming directly from our factory, it's going to take 7 to 10 days. Or it's going to take 10 to 14 days. And then they get it in 7 to 10 days. And like, wow, that wasn't too bad. I'll buy some more stuff. Right. So those opportunities are out there, and you don't have to just sell AliExpress stuff. You can, there are a number of other companies out there, CJ Dropship and a couple of that you can find a product in China, ship it to their warehouse, and they'll ship it to your customer straight from China. It's a little difficult to deal with China right now due to some political things, but I think some of that's going to work out hopefully in the next year. But I see print on demand.
Incredible opportunity for people.
I'm seeing drop ship coffee programs right now. Drop ship.
Yeah, anybody can be in the coffee business.
Yeah, drop ship bath products, drop ship perfumes, drop ship everything where you just private label, but without a big commitment to buying buckets, right? Most of those companies are charging a little subscription fee, but you don't have any minimums. Tony Grimmeyer that owns Ship Offers that does supplements is just the great guy. They got 70 supplements over there that you can go, and tomorrow they'll be putting your label on those supplements, and you can be in the supplement business like
And they look beautiful.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Literally tomorrow.
You look like a class act.
Yeah, you look like a class act. They're all super certified, great company, and not a commercial for Ship Offers, but they're an example of, and I know people making literally millions of dollars a year with them as their backfiller who never touch a product. So I think that's going to change a lot this year. You're going to see more and more of that.
Yeah, exciting times. And then we've been spending a lot of time really getting that back end dialed in. Here it comes. Oh, you missed it. I thought for sure when I said back end.
I like big ends in a can.
But mainly with the setters and the phone team.
Yeah.
I know that we've been following a lot with what Cole's doing and that whole process.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be able to go out and meet with Cole Gordon and speak with his group. And Cole, if you need a guy to find you great salespeople, set up your sales system, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm getting no money from any of these referrals. We got to change this. We got to figure out how we get money from that.
But we can still put links.
But no, they're great. They do a great job.
But training is phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is. But really, I'll tell you, I think you're going to see this year a big cleansing of the industry. And I think people who don't figure out how to sell, number one, how to locate the 5% of customers on their list that are willing to spend 20 times more money than everybody else. That's number one. How do you locate them? How do you get them to self-identify? And then how do you contact them and make them an offer that's appealing to them? Because that offer that's appealing to them is completely different than the offer that's going to be appealing to somebody who's starting. It couldn't be more different. So I think that's the hardest part to figure out, right? How are you going to do that? And I think you're going to see a lot of the guys that are out there selling big ticket to, I think a disaster, by the way, is selling big ticket to low end people.
Yeah, it needs to cap off like 2,500.
Or give it away. In my mind,
it's scary.
I want to give everything I got away to the people who need it the most.
Yeah, it's scary.
Right? I want to give them all the courses I can give them. I want to give them all the content I can give them and give them all the support and hope in the world that I can give them. And then there's going to be a certain amount of those people who are going to grow up to do well. And there's a certain amount of people who are going to watch that stuff and go, man, I love what that guy's doing, but I don't want to do all that by myself. I'm just going to get a hold of them and see if I can hire them or if I can work with them or partner with them. Because my objective now is to work with people for a little while and hopefully earn or buy some equity in their business. So I have a different goal set than most people do. And I really like working with people that already have some momentum, right?
Yeah.
Because it's really harder.
And you like working with people that have an established business too.
Yeah, I love it. But I love to watch new people that have never made money break through too. So if I can give my stuff away, more of my stuff away, that helps the people in the beginning of their journey, I can hold back some of my good stuff that helps people. It wouldn't help them anyway, right? That stuff, largely the more advanced, strategic, high level stuff wouldn't necessarily help the startup guy that much anyway, but it'll really help the bigger ticket person. And it gives me an opportunity to sell money at a discount. If I can show you that 20 odd times I've been able to take companies from $1 million to $2 million to 20 and 30 million, you'd be crazy not to want to give me a little bit of that to help you to get there if I'm not being greedy, and I'm not a greedy guy. So I think you'll find I think that's going to be the big, so those are the biggest things that I'm thinking about concentrating.
There's one more thing that you haven't mentioned. It's a big one for you.
I talked about the turtleneck already.
Not the turtleneck.
What's that?
Email.
Oh,
email.
yeah.
And we could probably do a whole entire session.
Let's do that. Let's do a different session on that, because
but give them a hook here.
Nobody knows how to email. There's the hook.
Nobody knows how to email.
Nobody knows how to email.
You must hate money.
Yeah.
If you don't tune in.
Nobody knows how to email. We've taken our email revenue up by almost 600% since the first of this year, with 80% less people on our list. So we've eliminated 80% of our people and 6x'd our email income by really just understanding at a cellular level how email works.
It's like 60% inboxing. right?
Yeah, we're running about 60% priority inbox, which the national average is 2.7%. So
Yeah, that's insane.
yeah, we're killing it on the emails front. And I'm just about to finish up a 12-week initial training where I brought in just a handful of people that were friends of mine and taught them this, charged them a ton of money.
Yeah.
But they got
results.
They've all done really well and they're all happy. So I think that next year for us, a lot of it is because, again, it all comes back to the same thing, right? Media is costing more. It's costing more to acquire a customer. So if you don't have an affiliate way to get customers, if you don't have organic content video to get customers, if you're not extracting the most value out of those customers after you get them, and that's email, SMS, direct mail, every way that once you get a buyer, most people, they quit. It's crazy. It's like a dog chasing a car. What do you do when you catch it? You stand there and look dumb. Most people do that. I'm trying to get out there and say, great, you bought something from me. How else can I serve you? If I've delivered a great value to you, how else can I deliver more value to you? So those are the trends, and we'll do a whole thing on email next. Maybe we'll do that as
that's our next session, right? How to get a 600%. Is that what you said? 600%?
585% last week pulled it.
585%.
And we're mailing about
increase.
20% as many people as we were at the first of the year.
Yeah, you took your list from what?
Oh gosh.
Put them in the hot spot.
Yeah, depends on the company, but my list was about 130,000. I think we're mailing about 30,000. And
yeah, less is more
on a given time.
Side of the moon.
Go ahead, tell Connie.
So that's gonna be session.
She already knows.
That's gonna be episode number 2.
We'll do email next episode.
So let's do this. We're putting this together as we go, right? Massive action takers here. What I'll do is I'll put together a little micro survey down below for everybody that sees this. Tell us where you're at with email.
If you see this on a social platform, I'm not going to pay to ship it to you, but I'll send you a Marketing Badass mug. It's $5 to ship it. But if you guys want one, just comment Marketing Badass.
Hashtag Marketing Badass. Right?
Yeah, hashtag Marketing Badass down in the comments somewhere, and we'll send you a link to go over and get one. You have to pay $5 to ship it, but you can have the mug. And we're making these. They're kind of fun. I think they're kind of fun. Yeah. We got hats coming out, shirts coming out, all kinds of marketing. You can get an MBA right here. Your Marketing Badass.
Oh, I like that. MBA. Marketing
Badass. Get your MBA right all up in here. You know what I'm saying to you. Anyway, all right.
That's it. That's a wrap, huh?
I guess that's it, man. We've had a few laughs.
Till we figure out what to do.
We've had a few laughs. We've hung out a little. Hey, he's a good kid.
They're probably watching this thinking that we planned this out.
Oh, yeah. Months. Right? Lots of planning. Months. There are flow charts on the other side of the wall. Took weeks to draw those things. It was crazy with hieroglyphics and crayons.
We have it all figured
things
out.
Like that. Yeah.
So right now we'll put a link down below. Tell us where you're at with email. Give us some comments. Tell us what you think here, right? We'll get more organized.
What do you think is going to be big next year? And do you have anything to back it up? Because I asked in my last comments.
How do you really feel about AI, Perry?
I think AI is super cool. I think AI is way cooler than Bitcoin. I think it's way cooler than NFTs or whatever those things are called now. I think the Trump NFT was super cool, though. If I could figure out a way to cut my head off and stick it onto Superman's body and sell it to people that are bright enough to buy that, I would do it too. Just my thoughts.
This guy, the man, the myth, the legend.
One man. All right.
Thank
you all so very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on the Marketing Badass, a podcast.
Take care, everybody.
$1 million. Okay.
That's all right.
Thanks. Take care. Bye. What do you think? Not bad, right?
I got to wait. Give me that outtake, man. I'm going to say it again. Ready?
Yeah. What's the outtake?
Just give me that outtake on AI, right?
What the fuck?
Your whole thing was you thought it was bullshit. So give me that outtake, right? Ready?
AI is bullshit.
No, I'm going to ask you. All right.
Hold on. Hey, are we going to put out a blooper reel? I think we should do a blooper reel first. Hey, all right. Hey, everybody. Harry Carey here.
So how do you really feel about AI, Perry? Don't hold back or nothing.
I think it's a lot of people jerking off.
That's how you really feel about AI.
Yeah,
the whole entire marketplace is all aboard this AI.
Yeah, it's the new NFT. It's the new Bitcoin. I'm going to put mine down to sell my house and buy Bitcoin. How'd that work out for you? Yeah, I wouldn't sell my house and invest in it. I don't think it's there yet, but I don't think that I think AI is going to completely change everything in the world. There's no doubt about it, but I just don't think what we have right now, the toys that we're playing with, are going to be the things that really shift our paradigm. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
I'll put that at the very, very beginning.
Hey, okay. Go ahead then. Hey, you can put it down here too, because I
All
don't
right.
even care. Do you think we did good?
So what do you
I don't
think?
know. I don't know. I think we should just leave everything in. What do you think? Hold on.
I don't think we have to
Call in
anything.
20. What if I got to call in 20? Oh, I got to call in 20 minutes.
I
That's
don't
what
think,
call in
I
20
don't think we
minutes.
have to edit anything, do you?
No,
Do you like it?
no, I hate it.
I got to figure out how we were really engaged at first, and then you just took off, and I'm like, dude, I can't keep up.
If you're slow, you're slow. You only do so much about that. All right. Bye, y'all.